keeps going back offline. Why? Streaming. Wonderful time for kids to be arguing. All right, make sure I got my links. Testing. You're in the way. All right, now I can see that I got all the platforms up. This is going to be a Foursquare. Come on, bear with me. So I'm trying to get this thing into the block. Try this and then this. Turn that off. And these. Turn that off. Is that everything? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Turn that off. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then where's the other one? I have lost the window. Where's my other window? There you are. This is, there you go. All my windows check. All right. LinkedIn really makes it like difficult to do the lives because their chat doesn't really make a lot of sense. But let's get it cracking. Sorry, I've been like sniffing and coughing and all types of stuff. These kids and their germs. All right, so let's see what we're going to go through today. New window. We are going to be going over OpenAI's new Agentic Commerce Protocol. ACP. Agentic Commerce Protocol. There we go. I am going to be walking through getting yourself ready for Agentic Commerce. So we're going to take a client and we're going to get that client from 0 to production ready. Hopefully in the next hour. I don't know if it's going to happen in the next hour, but we'll see how far we get. We'll start with what information we have and then progress to there. I'm going to probably break some things down as like get everything set up. And then we're going to start breaking things down. So first of all, let's start with this release here of Agentic Commerce Protocol. This is a new one. I hadn't even heard of this before today. Agentic Commerce Protocol. It was released, I want to say a week ago. About a week ago. What does it do? Open standard enable conversation between buyers and their AI agent and businesses to complete a purchase. Stripe. So OpenAI Stripe built a Agentic Commerce Protocol. Powerful, easy, flexible, secure. Keep the customer relationship. Agentic Commerce. Let's get some more information over here. buyers, AI agents, and businesses. So let's say you want to buy something from a business. We're just going to go over, we're looking over what agentic commerce is. So you, hey, I need a large t-shirt. It presents you with a large t-shirt. So I guess you're having a conversation with an agent, and then you ask for something. So let's say I ask for this heavyweight t-shirt, and then the agent handles all the stuff in between, and we can get right into the checkout. That's pretty fast and nifty. Right inside of the chat window. I never had to leave the chat window. My order is done and we're ready to go. Boom. So that's basically ACP. So we're doing commerce right there in the chat. And again, this is relatively new. I, for one, again, did not hear about this until today. And I said, you know what? What better way to understand it than to execute on it and learn it right away? So why not set up a client and get them production ready today to understand what this is? So you can actually have instant checkouts right in ChatGPT. Okay, so if you have a commerce platform, again, we're also considering like how people are searching today and how searches change. A lot of these conversations with businesses or looking for businesses are happening right inside of ChatGPT, and so leveraging, if you're running a e-commerce platform or something that's selling online, leveraging chat to close a sale could be something that's useful. So yeah, this is cool. Who can use it? Any business that can implement the ACP specs. And we're going to be going over the ACP specs because that's what we're going to be implementing. Which AI agent are available to businesses who implement it? Any AI agent who can call ACP. Does implement protocol mean my products will automatically be listened through AI agent? No, each platform manages their own process. You need to apply. If you want instant checkout in ChatGPT, let's also look at this application process just in case it's something we can do. Can merchant use their own payment processor? Anything compatible PSP. Stripe is the first compatible PSP. So we're just going to leverage Stripe because they're compatible right now. I mean, they helped write it. So this was a partnership between OpenAI and Stripe, who helped write this protocol. So we're just going to leverage these guys because they already have the information. You know, let's not reinvent the wheel. Develop to create standard for open, secure, boom, boom, boom. All right. So let's see. We answered some questions about that. Turn chats into checkouts. Here's some merchant information. Everyday meetings, blah, blah, blah. Sign up to be a merchant. Yeah, why not? OpenAI is accepting applications for merchants who want to integrate their products into ChatGPT search results, enable instant checkout via the Agentic Commerce Protocol. You'll see a preview of the experience here. I think this is the same page. Shopify, please note if you're an Etsy seller, Shopify seller, you need to fill out this form. It's a separate form for those guys. Okay, let's see. Buy and ChatGPT with instant checkout. We're going down like this rabbit hole of seeing all the information about this, but it looks like they've been talking about this for a little bit. September 29th. This is just an example of buying directly in ChatGPT. This is kind of cool. Instant checkout. Here's Agentic Commerce Protocol. User is ChatGPT, gathers fulfillment information, renders options, user fulfillment, calculate, blah, 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 gathers information, charges, boom, boom, check, check, check. It's cool. Built for trust. Okay. I have seen enough. Let's see. Do I have to already be feed size? Create checkout integration. We have built in. I think what I want to do is I want to get it ready first, and then we're going to apply. So I want to do the apply the Kodak first, and then come on phone. And then after I apply the Kodak, I'm sorry, not the Kodak. After I apply the protocol, then we'll go ahead and fill out the form just to say, hey, we already did it. I don't know if that's going to mean anything as far as, because they're doing on a rolling basis. I don't know if that's going to mean anything, but at least we'll have the specs done already. And so if there is any adjustment or is there acts from OpenAI, we will already be ready for it. So I don't want anybody, I don't want my client to have to think about that. All right, the client today, let's go. Well, before we do that, boom, 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 let's view the specs. Open API specs, JSON schemas. Okay, I already got all that. Boom, 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 boom. This is solid. Great. This is great. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is ask ChatGPT to give me a checklist. They understand all the information, right? So we're just going to go to chat. Bow. Let's see, how are we doing today? I'm going to go to chat, make sure my volume's good. I don't know if my volume's good. There we go. We'll go to chat and see. Okay, here we go. Boom. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have it add some information. I know it probably has it, and we're using the thinking model, but I want to grab everything I can find. I'm going to just drop it in here. Think I'm wrong, but I go nowhere. Say, hey, look, I'm going through a lot of information here. Boom. Come on. There we go. Let's go through here. And actually, rather than do that, this is one of my favorite things to do. When I have a repo, I usually, now my go-to when I get to a repo is literally drop it in Deep Wiki. And then I have like a better explanation page of it. Because look, it gives me, just from doing that, I have all this information that just going to the wiki didn't give me. I have breakdowns of where things are, how things are organized. And so rather than passing the GitHub repo to the chat, I pass the Deep Wiki repo URL. There we go. So now I get better results. Help me. Readiness. I think it's readiness. Engineer. We'll use the protocol. All right, so we already know the client uses Stripe. I don't have to think about that. And it's going to help me put together a checklist. So help me create a checklist for readiness. An engineer, boom. And then letting ChatGPT know I'm to work through ACP. Boom. And I'm going to send it off. So basically what we're doing, the first step is just creating a checklist. The checklist is going to provide some context. It's going to help us kind of organize everything we're going to do. So we're going to, start here with a DNS, or we're going to go through here with Stripe, making sure we have the webhooks connected, making sure that we have our callback URLs connected, our error URLs connected, our product list connected. So all that stuff is going to be connected, but it's going to create a formal checklist for us to be able to go through and say, all right, we've executed all these things. And then by the time we're finished with this checklist, we can call ACP done. Part of the story. The other part of the story is if I am building an application, how much of it can I hand off to, say, Claude Code that we can use, say, in a spec sheet to say, hey, here's a spec sheet of all the things that need to be built. Now take the spec sheet and turn it into a task list, and then execute on the task list, build the application. And on the other side of it, again, we have a finished ACP protocol that's connected to the Stripe account. So that's what we're going to do today. And hopefully by the end of it, that should cover everything. So let's see what OpenAI has for us. Just from doing that, I have all this information. Okay, real quick, let me just make sure this is working correctly. Yeah, it's working correctly. Man, I do not like how LinkedIn does that. All right, so we have a checklist. Awesome. Let's get you a clean, engineer ready ACP readiness checklist. Assumes your client already uses Stripe. I split it into phases and clearly call out what's done in Stripe versus what's in your app. I'm grounding this in OpenAI ACP docs. Get started. Production specs. ChatGPT merchant. Stripe ACP pages, Stripe payment tokens plus ACP site, GitHub citations, cite at the end of each blah 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 blah. All right. Stripe readiness checklist. We're starting in Stripe, so we got organize the Stripe account, catalog products, and then we have a checkout API, which again this is all Stripe. Payment path, implement ACP delegation payments. Boom, observability ops. And then I guess we go to UX for legal. I'm sure that's like terms of service. Yeah, terms of service, privacy policy, return messages. We're going to start with a sandbox account. Session creation, and shipping, payment, organization, other applications, order updates, go live checklist, and then our go live checklist. Is ACP Stripe only? No, ACP is not Stripe only. They're just the first ones. Who's a merchant record? Links you'll use most. Oh, there's a get started. Okay. I think I was already on that one. let's see. It says something about, if you want, I can turn this into a GitHub ready checklist. Yes, please. Boom. And then I'm gonna look at the Stripe SPT. Oh, shared payment token. All right, Stripe radar. So let's go to our Stripe account. Since we're starting in Stripe, let's go right to it. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed it. SXX. There we go. Our client of choice, shooting coach and trainer. We was talking about the client, Brianna Garza. She is a pro shooting coach. She travels around the world teaching the art of shooting. And she's pretty hip on the tech side. And so happens to also be a partner, business partner of mine. And so we've been working together for about a year now, helping facilitate the tech side. And yeah, she brought me this today, and I said, yo, let's do it. You'll be among the first on the training scene with one of these, because I doubt anyone has a mark to call. So we're going to go into the sandbox. And then from our sandbox, we're going to be building out the protocol in our sandbox. All right, let's go. And this is for anyone who is looking to, if you're coming back and you're watching this later and you're someone who wanted to do Agentic Commerce Protocol and you want to list your products in ChatGPT, I'm sure somebody's going to productize this one day, but if you wanted to get a head start and have your products in ChatGPT, this is where it's at. All right, so from our sandbox account, we are going to be setting up radar. Data not available yet. Data becomes available. Monitoring programs, radar, blah, 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 blah. Cool. Got radar going. What else do we need? All right, let's go to the Agentic Commerce Get Started page. I like how they say, do this, do this, do this. But it's not specific to instructions, which is, again, that's why we asked ChatGPT for instructions, because they didn't necessarily give us that. All right. Here's the actual checklist. Program scope. Decide your path. Build ACPs now. Apply for instant checkout when ready. We're not ready, so we're not going to check that. Is there an app that takes this and turns it into a real checklist? Oh, we're just going to drop it somewhere else. Confirm roles. Your merchant of record. Own, accept payment, tax, fulfillment, support. pick a payment. Yes, can I help you? Huh? You want dinner? It's on the counter. Yes. Yeah. The dinner is on the counter. Sorry, my kids are like asking questions. That is how this works. This is dad and streaming live. All right, pick your payment approach. Stripe. We've already picked the payment approach. All right, so we're gonna skip step 0. We've already done this. We're gonna be using a test account. All right, it says read the overview SPT concepts. Oh, here we are. Oh, there's a wait list in Stripe. Put her information. Ooh. Make sure I got the LLC correct. Shooter Shoot LLC. I am him. Why not? You know, there's going to be so many markets or people who are developing market. This is why I know, like right now, this is a little harder because as an individual, you have to figure it out. But this little tag lets me know there's going to be other folks who are facilitating this. There's going to be a marketplace for people who facilitate this for other people. So right now, I'm facilitating this for a user, but there are going to be people facilitating this to many users, and they're going to make lots of money. AI platform embedding commerce into my application. We're going to do all of them. So near term, we can talk near term. Actually, I don't even want to do it like that. Yes, I do. So near term. Anything else? Do I have to say this? Tell us more about your project. Okay. Boom. And we're going to submit this. Boom. That should be good to go. Make sure, double check it. Always double check it. Make sure you're good. And I'm going to submit it. Boom. All right. We are submitted for commerce. Insurance and products through AI agent include waitlist. All right. I don't think that should stop us. I think we should be able to keep moving forward if you're interested in using it with the test account for businesses using ACP specification. Okay. This is their get started, which is what I want to see. See how just like accumulate tabs very quickly. So payment method. What do they say for payment method? We are adding share payment tokens. Review transactions. Check out the payment methods. Do you see share payment tokens? Preview. Got a lot of payment methods here. I don't see share payment tokens. No, they don't have it in here. So we're looking for share payment tokens. Stripe share payment tokens. Let's see. When to create, you should issue a scope of grant payment method. All right, so this one is a little confusing about setting this up because here's what we're saying. All right, so integrate, it says to integrate, you have to first have the payment method. But according to this, get started. So you're building your checkout flow, end-to-end share payment token, integrate agent protocol, blah, 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 blah. I guess that is the first one. So we're going to start here. To learn more, see the ACP website. And then what we'll do is we'll bring in my friend Claude Dista. Where are you? Claude. We got the Max subscription, so we're going to just be leveraging Max to do this for us. Not going to do that. I might just have it do testing. Here we go. And we're going to have to do a search for us. This can't be the first step. Let's look at this one more time. Checkout session. We already did that. Read the business verification. Already did that. We already read over that, and we applied through Stripe. Product feed in your app. Oh, okay. This is the first step. I'm like, why does this feel like this is the last step? Because it wasn't a first step. Let's go. Let's keep following in order. I know I got ahead of myself. It's that ADHD. I'm telling you. I go down one path and then squirrels hit, and now I'm in another path. So we don't have to do this. This is where it talks about payment methods. We already did this. We already took care of the tax settings, and then we read over the Agentic Commerce overview for SBT and Stripe. We applied for the account. We can continue. So now we're on step 2. We're implementing an ACP product feed, which I am absolutely sure we can get a ACP product feed directly from Stripe. So for now, we'll hold off on these URLs. They're not relevant to what we're doing at this very moment. This isn't relevant to what we're doing at this moment. Not relevant anymore. Not relevant. I like to just close the tabs that aren't relevant so I don't lose the context. We've already applied, so we're good to go there. I know I'm not used to doing this, but I have to go to the bathroom during this thing, and I do not have a pause button. That's the thing about streaming. I have a pause button. I am recording, so the edit version won't have this, but this version, guys, I'm going to take a pause real quick to go grab. So for now, we'll go to the bathroom and then come back. See, the next thing we're going to do is implement ACP product feed, SKUs, blah, blah, blah. Did I already click this link? Come on, do the thing. Yeah. This is our product data. And all of our attributes, availability, inventory, variance. Oh yeah, Stripe is about to do all this. I'm going to show you how, when I come back, we're going to go through how we do this very quickly by just integrating what Stripe already does. Yeah, this should be super straightforward. I'll be right back. Bathroom time. It's a bathroom break. Okay, and we're back. Let the marker show we skip a couple minutes to the point that we're back. Ooh, no worries. No one knew I was here anyway. Or not here. All right. Let's prepare the feed. Fill out this form here. Yep, we'll get to the OpenAI, ChatGPT. I'll prepare. And then we're going to do, I love this. So we're just going to have GPT read through this. Boom. And let's look at this again. Let's check our checklist. Product feed. Consistently. I like to mix it up, man. I don't just use ChatGPT, or I don't just use Claude. Use Gemini. I use ChatGPT and I use Claude. Let's see, what is their recommendation? Now I've typed all this stuff. Check this prospect. Not understand a complete picture. Let me give you a comprehensive solution. Yes. We are going to do Next.js. So I am going to go to, so usually like coding is usually like the last thing I would do. So I just want to know before I even start coding, do I have to code? And then what are all the things that I have to consider around the code before I code? And then when I absolutely have to code, then we can start working down on it. This ideal becomes an easily Stripe integration, built API notice. For feed or cell deployment with cron jobs can integrate with AI. This case for full agent interactions. Project setup. I'm not a big fan of Next.js routers, so we're not even going to do it like this. I hate their routers. I'm not the only person, but it's so unorganized. Set up Stripe products with required metadata. Create cron job for freshness. Create product detail page. And it already handles the shared payment token. I didn't even talk about that. Boom. All right. Good to know. So I do have to build an application. So let's get right to it. Now that we know we have to build an application, we are going to scaffold this thing out. I have about 30 minutes, and then wherever we land, we land. When I shut it down, let's build this bad boy out. Let me just tell them what I know real quick. Yeah, you do you. So it's doing stuff. I'm not listening to Claude from this point. I just know it's possible. So we're going to just go with the secrets and stuff here. Again, 5 people watching this. What happens in this is a sandbox account, so I'm not really worried about what happens in a sandbox account. Just the point of it being a sandbox account. But we're going to start a fresh one. So let's switch to sandbox. We're going to create a new sandbox that's just blank. We're going to call this Y test account ACP test account. So this is our ACP test, and it's all new. There's no configurations. We're not moving anything over. Blah, blah, blah. Some business placeholder. See, I don't want business data included in our sandbox, because if I don't really care about it, that's not information that needs to be listed. Let's keep it fresh. Boom. And then we have our API keys, our secret and our publish keys. Let's do that. We're going to start a new repo. And these days, I'm not doing all that work. Let's open up our WSL. Connect to the WSL. And then we're going to put Claude to work. Let's see how much it can do very quickly. Everybody, it goes without fail. Like the first thing everybody wants to do, and when I edit this, we'll probably edit it down to this portion of it, because this is all anyone really cares about. They want to shortcut the shortcut. This is already the shortcut. It doesn't need any more shortcuts. We're going to start Claude. See, where's our applications? CD applications. Get net. Get net. Did I do this right? No, I did do this right. Initialize, get net. Boom. We have our application. Let's open this. Do I have a folder? I don't have a folder for you. All right, let's go. I bet. Terminal. Claude. Come over here right quick. I need you to do something for me. Two things I absolutely want. All right, so we're going to use the open API specs. So let me see. Next. I like this guy. Don't mind my spelling. I can't spell. That should give you hope. You don't need to be that smart to do this. Anyone can. What type of application is this? One, it's a web app. Two, what is the stack language? Next.js, TypeScript. Three, what is the purpose of this application? Agentic. It's a provider for Agentic Commerce Protocol. Any specific requirements? TypeScript. And next Swagger documents. API specs. Boom. Let's go strict mode. Tap in the bone, and that's what you do for something. Hold it down. Do your thing, chicken wing. That's what you do. Work it out. Get the linter going. All right. Get that linter going. All right. I noticed it said next 15. What next? Are we on? Are we on 18? Oh, this is on 15, 15.5. React 19. I was like, something got to be on 18. So health check, all the basic stuff. All right, so right now we're just installing packages. We're setting up the scaffolding. We're getting the project, the application started to like a baseline before we get started. I want to have clean code. I'm sure you can like vibe it all the way to the end. Kind of like want a clean starter place. So when we do get to the end, we don't have to do much work. And then as we start progressing through tasks, that we don't have to define a bunch of stuff or go back and fix a bunch of stuff. It knows how to kind of work through the tasks. And then we're using like right now we're not using sub agents right now. We're just kind of laying out the groundwork before we start getting into sub agents. The bigger conversation is like how this workflow that I've established over the last month and a half. I mean, I've been working on it for, the last, probably since, I want to say March, I've been working on this. And now it's getting to like this mature state of like developing a workflow to using AI to build applications for you. And so now we're getting to like this stable place where I don't really have to touch the code. I just understand what's happening. Let's see what we got. Nothing because it's not running. All right, so we got everything that we need in our regular setup, and let me just do a quick check for agents. Let's see what we got. We have built it in, so we don't have our agent list. So the first thing we want to do is do a call init sugar / init. And I like to do Klein too. Told you I like to have this world where everyone is getting along. We're going to do initialize memory bank. It's probably one of my favorite commands. I might do another one after this just to be sure I got this. Another init after this just to be sure Claude gets it right. No, access control protocol. Stop what you're doing now. Access Commerce Protocol. Oh, it corrected it for me. Agentic Commerce Protocol, and I said Access Commerce Protocol. I love that it's smart enough to fix my stupidity, because it definitely did. Oh, it's doing a Google search. Is it asking me to do it? No, hold on, player. Hold on, player. I need to make sure you see. Make sure you got permission to use the tools, my man. Give it longer time. You should be, yeah. There we go. Great. Now that the browser understands what the protocol is, it's going to help me write proper documentation and get this thing to the finish line faster. Oh, I got like gorillas in my head. Work it out. Look at that. So it knows what we need to document. It's going to like map out everything for us. I love this state. This is why so many like C-suite guys and like top engineers are coming out of retirement. It's because of this. Yeah. The amount of effort it takes to lift and shift code, it's, I don't even know how to describe it. It's the best thing I've ever experienced in my life. In my career so far. I mean, it's been about almost 20 years now. But this is a real game changer. It's going to change the way, I mean, it already has changed the way I write code. And I like to build everything from the ground up, but why waste the time? everything I need to understand about what's going on can be understood here. I think what a lot of the junior developers are missing is understanding what you're looking at and what you're looking for. And so they're just asking for prompt returns haphazardly, and they're getting returns, and a lot of times they're getting more work to do than they necessarily needed to do. And so they're getting like these massive Git commits, and you're seeing, I'm sure companies left and right are seeing Git commits with 100 file changes or 20,000 line changes, or these massive single files that just don't make sense. You got a single file with 1,500 lines in it, and you're wondering what the heck was the developer thinking, because no other human being can read it. Well, unfortunately, that developer didn't read it themselves, and they have no clue how to read it. So it's like, for someone who's been doing this a while, it's like, all right, how do I take this and make it manageable for someone at a high level? And if there was no AI, can I still come into this project and understand exactly what's going on? That's where I want to take it. That's where I want to use it. Like, with or without AI, is this manageable and understandable? And if it is manageable and understandable without AI, it's surely manageable and understandable with it. Probably more so. Oh, my 30 minutes is up. All right, so what we're going to do, we'll call this part one. We kind of establish what we're going to create. We've managed to get a scaffolding. We know what we're going to build. And then in part two, we got an error here. Then in the next part, we're going to go back in, kind of figure this all out. Probably do that one tomorrow, actually. We'll come back in, figure, or I might come back and do it tonight. I might come back here, reopen this bad boy up tonight, and kind of get the executing on getting this production ready. Agentic Commerce Protocol API. Yeah, so we have a baseline of this build ready, and then we'll run through the checklist pretty quick. I think we'll run through the checklist pretty quick. And then we'll have a pretty good stable build of the agentic commerce platform. I think I'm just gonna wait for this error to get resolved because I want a clean build. Oh man, still erroring out. Okay, all right. Committed to these errors. I see you. Try it again. There you go. We'll probably add some local environmental variables to map this to. Again, like the difference between some junior person and somebody who knows what they're looking at, I can just tell, okay, boom, it just dropped a URL in here. When we go to production, that URL is not going to be able to map properly. So you're probably going to want to make sure you have environmental variables that map the URLs properly. I don't have to code the same way. My skill set has changed. What I need to be skilled at changes. What developers need to be skilled at has changed or will change. And we have to have, I guess, some ideal direction on the thing that we're going to be becoming skilled at, because you're not going to code as much. It's not going to be as important. Like, the code itself is not as important. Understanding what the code is doing, how to navigate the code, how to debug the code properly, those things are still going to be important. Making the code is sure the code is easy to reason about. Being able to separate your concerns within your code base, those things are still going to be important. But the writing itself, that's becoming like an abstraction layer. And again, if you're making your code manageable enough, you can still jump in and write it, and it's very clean if you do it right. So boom, our code built, and we're done with the memory bank. Start new task. Now we're going to initialize just to make sure it does it right. This is one I invented called the Document Hub. So make sure it does it right. I'm usually going to ignore the memory bank and a git ignore, but the Document Hub, however, is global for any person to see, for any developer to see, to understand the underlying technology and the overall code base. Oftentimes, if I get connected on a project or a code base, I'll go into a contract and I'll start working on it, and I'll have no idea. I'll have no idea if the code base has certain technology in it, what the tech stack is. So I just built a workflow or a rule that says, hey, just tell me all about this code base. I've never seen it before. Tell me all about it. What do we have here? I was going through what we have so far. We don't have anything. So as the code base grows and I run the update commands, this thing is going to understand the code base and grow with it, which is pretty cool. File down. Next one to go. And I don't know what this concept is called. Let's look at this right quick while we're here. I'm not even sure this concept has a name, right? Acceladra. Scaladra. I don't know which one it was, but it was going to be something. I'll start drawing. So I think when I'm coding, it's sort of like this brick format, if you will. I'm kind of, what I'm establishing is the things that we need to be concerned about at like various levels. Boom. So at the very top level, which has like the most amount of context, I think what you're seeing is a lot of people doing, what are these called? PRDs? Yeah, PRD documents. So you got this product requirement document. And for me, that's like sitting at a pretty high level. But at this level up here, I think what we're seeing is what we're seeing is full context application context. At your full application context, this is where like Claude and everything else sits. Is right up here, your full application context. That's where you have your memory management, your document management. It's all up here at the top level. Then as you dig a little deeper, so now I want to do tasks. So full application, from my full application context, the next thing I'm going to build is a task. I want you to do, feature. I want you to do feature related context. So here I might have something, look at my code base and go, all right, Mark, here's your full code base. Now I want to build a feature in that code base. Now in the feature that I want to build in the code base, I don't need to understand the full code base, but I do need to understand a chunk of it. And then what I'll do is with that chunk, I'll create documentation around this specific feature, because I'm creating documentation around this feature. I'm going to have to execute on certain tasks. So anything I need to understand, I'm going to store it here. So again, we go full application is where we store things like your documentation for the code base, your memory bank, keeping track of what's happening, so it understands your full code context. This is where you'll also see your Claude, blah, 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 your Claude MD file. So your agents and anything that's working in code base, they're going to see something up here in your full application context. But then you get in your feature context is when you're going to go, all right, I'm going to delegate a specific feature and I'm going to build a specific task. That's your feature context. Then we get into what I call the task context. Because in our feature context, we might have there might be a PRD somewhere here. Here's where I have a PRD, a product requirement document. But honestly, I don't even put a PRD in here. I like to call it instead of the product requirement document, I like to do a feature requirement document. Because once I leave this full context, this is where the PRD lives. So the product itself will probably live here in the full context. PRD. But here I'm leveraging FRD, feature requirement doc. Because here I have specific to my feature. And again, my memory bank will probably have here we go, product context. This is where my PRD lives, and the product context is at the top level. And then what I'll do when I create a feature that's going to have a set of tasks attached to it, it'll have a folder called feature. It's going to pull everything it needs between the two of these in the code base. So it's, hey, this is all we need to care about. And then we'll dive a little deeper. Then we get into task related stuff. And that's where we have task context. So we have feature related context, which is here. And then we dive a little deeper. Once we leave the full context, feature context, then we'll go to task related context. What do I know? What do I need to know for a specific task? From there, this is where we get into Claude planning. This is where Claude planning comes in. I'll go planning mode or client planning mode. And in our planning layer, this is where we execute on the task. What people are doing, what I see a lot of, people are executing tasks here at the top level, and they're just vibe coding. I think that's way more expensive. Or they're executing tasks here at the feature level, which again I think is a little bit more effective, but still pretty expensive. The execution actually should happen down here, but before we even get that, I think the planning should happen here at the task level. If the planning is happening at the task level, then our execution is siloed to what we need to know. It doesn't need to have full awareness. We're executing here, we have full awareness. So if I'm running anything from Claude at this level right here, it's too high. It's too expensive. If I'm running it here, it's too high. It's too expensive. I need to zoom in to exactly what it needs to know. And at the task level, once I start the planning and I figure out and I identify what it needs to know, now the context that I'm passing. So here at this level, what I'm doing is I'm passing the context from this point. I'm passing this context down here. Once I've passed this context here, I no longer need awareness of this level. This is like, all right, this is what I need you to execute on. And at this point, we are all green. And this is where I will consider your agent. Here's where the sub-agent's acting. They live here. Again, I don't know what this is called or what this strategy is called, but this is the flow that makes the most sense to, that has made the most sense to me, and has given me like the best result for consistent code quality. And can also here, I like to be able to go backwards. So once I've done the planning here and we've successfully executed on the task, there's a lot of stuff I can do. At this point, once we've gotten here, I can run git commits. So I can always go backwards. I can evaluate success. So I can do code reviews right here. All that stuff can happen right here at this layer. And it's just made the most sense to me that we can do that right here. Oof, oof. Versus doing it up here, and then once we've successfully done it there, we send that report back. Again, we're not done. We take all that and we send the report back. Hey, you're going through a feature. Each task is going to send a report back, and at the end of the task, then we can go, all right, I have successfully got the task. What do you need me to do? And then it goes, all right, well, what can we do at the feature level? We can evaluate success. We don't need the code review. We've already gone through the code review process. So we kind of evaluate how successful that was. What else can we do with the feature? We can update documentation. So we can update the, actually, that's what we do when we get here. So once the feature is done, now we have a complete feature. We'll then update the context. We'll update the full context. And then from there, we'll move on to the next thing. So we'll go here, we'll update that. And then here, this gets updated. So it's this pattern that goes down, boom, that goes down, things get executed on. We run the git commits, we run the everything else. Our feature context gets updated. and then our full context is updated. Once this is done, this dies. I said it like that, but once this context is done, we no longer care about this. This can go away. Because we've executed on everything, we've watched it, we've ordered it, we know what happens here. Now we can just move on. And then what we're calling this, the concept of rolling summaries. You can think of it as like a rolling summary. And again, I really wish what this workflow is could be coined into something. But we have a rolling summary that then happens. So as we get here, we successfully update it, and then this dies. So the context dies, we have the rolling summary, and then we move on to the next feature. Okay, what's the next feature? Boom. And then we drop down into this again. Boom, we run the success, coming up, boom, the next one goes. Now, the other thing that makes this dynamic as well is, depending on what you're building, it could be run in parallel. So in parallel, sub-agents are running through, on one end, you have sub-agents running through multiple tasks. So you have many agents, sorry. No, stop it. Oh, what a world. Oh, crap, I don't know how to stop this. There we go. No. If you don't go away. All right, app. That's crazy, right? People, are you seeing this? All right, anyway. What you have is sub-agents who are executing on this task. Right, you got sub-agents that say, hey, I can do a lot of work here. And it's going to delegate work to all these sub-agents that are running all at once, working on a task. And maybe you have multiple sub-agents within a task. And maybe you have multiple sub-agents, or maybe you have multiple flows within there. These are all things running in parallel. That's what makes this dynamic. And you can run it over and over again. Yeah, this is a sick workflow. And I don't have a name for it. I don't know if there is a name. Again, I don't even know if this already exists, but this is how I envision this thing happening. So everything's there. Cloud is there. We're going to run a call init again. It's going to pick up on everything we just did. It's going to understand that these two folders are important. And it's going to update our Claude. Boom, definition, structure, doesn't require any updates. Document remains accurate and comprehensive. All right, cool. So we're done for now. We'll come back and we'll revisit this and look at how we make this Agentic Commerce Protocol. Again, I think we're going to run through this pretty fast now that everything is set up. And then we'll go through that in our next part. Maybe I should save this as like a baseline, huh?